No, they haven't changed in any positive way. Muslims feel sort of a heightened scrutiny of their actions and their sort of political leanings and sensitivities. But one of the positive things that's come out of it is Muslims who were not considered Muslims before, are forced to self-identify as Muslims. And they're sort of like, they're coming out and saying, Donald Trump is making me a Muslim that I wasn't before. I was just sort of sliding along and my identity didn't matter, but it's made me consider, and I'm not speaking for myself because I was doing this before Trump, but I know Muslims who are saying, Donald Trump made me reconsider who I am as a Muslim, and I like that. So there's sort of an assertive Muslim identity. And this is among professionals, that might be doctors or journalists or lawyers or whatever, who were just sort of assimilated and not really thinking about who they were, where their parents came from, whether it's from Pakistan or from India or from Lebanon or any place else. But all of a sudden, Donald Trump wants to identify me as Muslim. All right, I'm Muslim, and this is who I am, and I'm proud to be that.
Is there fear within the Muslim community about safety?
Oh yeah, we know from the statistics that incidents of vandalism, of harassment, of violence, of arson have risen exponentially over the last year. It's just a statistical model. I can't remember the factor of what percent, but it's not some normal growth rate. It's and it's happened in all 50 states.
Now, you mentioned tonight during your conversation with the people that came here to the Durham Public Library to hear you speak, that in particular, the travel ban has been difficult. You shared a story about a family that couldn't have every member attend a wedding as a result.
There was a family who had been here for some time. A young man was getting married. He had been here he'd been studying in this country for 10 or 12 years, 12 years at least, whose family had been here before. He was getting married. And yet, because he came from Yemen, his parents couldn't get a visa to come to the wedding, and he was afraid to go home to get his parents' blessings because he was afraid that some quirk in the immigration system or some immigration official who didn't like his looks, because it can be very arbitrary at the border, might not let him back in. So there were no family members, basically, on his side of the wedding.
Did that happen right here in New Hampshire?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
In Exeter.
In Exeter. You also shared a story about two families that you know who moved to Canada because their middle schoolers were being bullied for their faith.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I don't think I want to target them. I know that they had tried negotiating with the schools, and their children were being bullied and with sort of Islamophobic kind of harassment, and they were made really uncomfortable by it, and the school chose to equate that kind of bullying with the normal kind of sort of teenage bullying that takes place, and chose not to act in any responsive and responsible way, and so those families have left.
Because of this adversity, do you think that the Muslim community in New Hampshire has gotten closer and grown stronger?
Oh, I think certainly the Muslims who are here feel strongly rooted in their faith. There aren't very many in New Hampshire, maybe 1,200 to 2,000 Muslims. We don't really know. But we know that that harassment takes place, in every state. And I think a lot of harassment actually doesn't go, a lot of harassment isn't reported, sort of like kind of microaggressions, that people play on, or snide comments on people. And they say, well, I'm just joking, that kind of thing. But people take it to heart. They're not all as old as I am, so they can't really get to me.